Good evening. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about feeling emotions and how that can help us write a memoir. Memoirs usually make us feel a range of emotions. We have been exploring a lot of memoirs this week that have made us feel happy or excited. Today we are going to read a memoir that may make us feel a different emotion. I'm going to read to you an excerpt from one of my favorite stories by Eve Bunting. It is called The Memory String. And in this excerpt, our main character, Laura, has just lost her mother, and her dad is recently remarried. Laura in this scene is sitting in her front yard playing with a string that her mother left for her. On this string are buttons that represent different memories of her mother's life. This is something that Laura really holds near and dear to her heart. And she is talking out loud about this memory string, loud enough for her stepmother, Jane, to hear. Laura stopped for breath and glanced up again at Jane. All this must hurt her a lot. For an instant, Laura felt mean and horrible, but only for an instant. She didn't hate Jane. Not really. It was just that Jane had gone and married Dad. She had to rush now because Dad was coming down the front steps. This khaki one was off Dad's uniform when he went to war in a place called the Gulf. Mom cut off his jacket when he came home, and she cried and cried because she was so happy he was safe. Dad stood in front of her. Bare ankles, old torn tennies. Laura. Quickly, before he could stop her, Laura said, "This last one fastened the neck of Mom's nightgown, the one she was wearing when she died. Dad saved it for me." She held up the memory string. It turned, the colors blurring through the blur in her eyes. So after I read that piece of Laura's memoir, I'm feeling a lot different emotions than some of the memoirs I've read earlier this week. I'm feeling sad. I feel sad for Laura that she's lost her mom. I feel sad for Jane that she's having a tough time reaching Laura. I feel sad for Dad because he lost his wife. I feel upset. I feel upset for Laura, because obviously these memories are really, really important to her, and she's having a hard time letting her life change after her mother has passed away. This is a lot different from other feelings that we've felt. Memoir writers create these memoirs to express times when they have felt different emotions. As humans, we feel different emotions, different days. Important things happen to us that cause us to feel certain ways. So it's important that we think about times we felt different emotions, because it gives us a great base for writing really strong memoirs. What I like to do is I like to start brainstorming for writing a new memoir, and I like to make a emotion chart like this one. I've listed times I've felt happy, scared, sad, nervous, excited, angry. We're humans, so we've all felt these emotions before. And what makes this chart special is that if I list a time that I've felt each of these emotions, I now have 6 prompts to begin writing a memoir on. For example, a time that I felt scared, I can go all the way back to when I was 10 years old. That's the cool thing about memoirs as well. You take pieces of different parts of your life when you felt different ways. A time I was scared was when I was about 10, and it was my friend's birthday. Her birthday was on Halloween, and she wanted to go to a haunted house. It was called the Haunted Mill. I wasn't brave enough to tell my friends that I was too scared to go. So I went with them. I waited in line, and the whole time I waited in line, I was absolutely terrified. This was the time I felt really scared, so I could write a memoir that details this time. Another example is a time I was excited. I love to start the school year. I get so excited to meet my new students, to start a new year, to get a fresh start. A time that I felt excited, a memoir I could write about, was in August when we started the new school year. What I want you to do is I want you to turn and talk to your partner and discuss a time when you have felt one of these emotions. By discussing this with our partners, we are doing some brainstorming for what we could write a memoir on. When you write today, create one of these charts in your notebook. Write about a time that you have felt each of these emotions. By the time you're finished, you'll have 6 different prompts that you can use to write your memoir on.